So this is the plan of God. He's making children in His very own image. We're going to be like God. We're going to be God's children. You know what your children are like. They're like God. If we're going to be the children of God, we're going to be like God. We're going to be like Christ. Christ is called God. And we're going to be brothers and sisters. We're going to be sons of God. If we don't understand that God never intended for the masses of humanity to understand this book, then we will not understand this book. This is not a book written to be understood. Human intellect will not allow you to understand this book. You can learn a lot about it, where and how it was written, the culture, the history. You know, you can memorize. You can be like Jack Van Impe and memorize, I don't know what he says, 25,000 verses he has memorized or whatever. But he has not a clue what the gospel is. Not a clue. People, I don't mean to pick on people, but why not? This group here. James Kennedy and Dr. Kennedy, you know, he speaks Greek and Hebrew fluently. Has not a clue as to what the gospel is. I'm serious. Not a clue. You say, oh, well, he doesn't have it quite down. No, he has not a clue. He has not a clue. If you think that God is going to torture most of humanity for all eternity, then you have not a clue as to what the gospel is. You have not a clue as to what Jesus Christ is. You have not a clue as to who and what God the Father is. Not a clue. Not a clue. You cannot say in the same breath that God is love, God tortures humanity for all eternity. You can't say that. That is as opposite as God and Satan to say that. Yet this is fundamental Christianity. God is love. God will torture most of humanity in real fire for all eternity. It's insane. If you can't see that that's insane, if you sit there and you say, well, I don't know, right? I mean, it makes sense to me. You'll never understand this book. You just will never understand this book. This book was written so that nobody could understand it. Until God picked somebody out and says, look, I want you to understand it. I want you to understand this book. And I'll show you how to understand it. That's the only way. You've got to pick you out, open up your mind, or you'll never understand this book. This book is written in all kinds of symbolism, figurative language, types, figures, images, examples, analogies, parables, metaphors. And people think it's literal. They think all those things are literal. That is confusion. That's why the church is confused. That's why there's like supposedly 3,000 Christian denominations in the world. Because they don't understand any of this stuff. Jesus Christ said to His apostles, He said, to you it is given to understand. To them it is not given to understand. Can we get that? To you it's given. To them it's not given. There's you and there's them. And that's just the way it is. And that's the way it'll be till the close of the age. They're talking about worldwide revival. Converting people at 250,000 a day. That in, I don't know what year, a couple of years, 12, 14 more years. Right, the entire world, the whole world will be Christianized in just a matter of not too many years. Yet Christ says when He returns, will He find faith on the earth? Find faith, that's all He'll find is faith. Everywhere, in every human being. No. No, He asked the question because He won't find faith. There is not faith among those, not millions, we have talked billions now. 2 billion professing Christians.